Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian... I pride myself on not getting to know other people, so do not put that on me.
Alec.
So the bananas, up until like the 60s, were an entirely different species of banana.
And Chad. It hit me like a wrecking ball.
Review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us. I feel like sometimes I just go into like talking about beer mode, and I'm like, I don't know that I know what I'm saying. And then I listen to the podcast, and I'm like, what? What did I say?
Zero IPU?
Or
That's impossible.
We'll get to that. The other thing is there's sometimes where like something like starts, like I'll start going down a track and I'm like, oh, I'm talking about so-and-so, but I can hear myself struggling to think of what I'm about to say, and then all of a sudden like it clicks and comes through, and I'm like,
Same, bro.
Thank God.
Same. Imagine listening to it 5 times in a row.
No.
And going, what was I thinking there?
Yeah, see, and that's the part that I don't
My
want
brain
to do.
just shut off for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Show notes. Keeps me on track.
Uh,
I have talking points. I have things to keep me what's coming up next. I'm not fully winging it.
okay, so speaking of that, are we dialed in today?
Huh?
Are we feeling dialed in?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Okay, so then let's get into it. I did some research.
Did you? Which one? All of them?
No, on one specific one.
Okay.
This one?
Yes,
All right.
because let's face it, I got called out. I got called out multiple times. I got called out on the podcast last time, or 2 times ago, whenever it was. I got called out now on social media. I was half expecting Chad to also like freaking comment to the brewer, because they reposted, I think, your little preview of this beer,
Yeah.
and I was like half expecting Chad to be like, hey, do you want to now also explain zero IBUs to Brian since he's a dum-dum?
All right, cool. So the first beer we're starting with today is Reuben's, from Reuben's Brews. We've talked about them before.
Crush the Slopes.
Yeah, North Seattle. They're downtown.
They're Ballard.
Yeah, Ballard, Fremont. They're two
They have a new
locations.
location I can talk to.
They have a third one?
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
I'll get to that in a second.
This is Crush the Slopes, a cold hopped hazy IPA.
Which I didn't check to see if I have had before.
And I did some research as well.
Pretty new, so you might have had it on Taps. Early preview on Tap, maybe.
Yeah, you did a cool thing, Chad, where you put the stuff in there, and now I got to see if I can find it.
So I've got it here.
Yeah, I had to make it easier for myself, and you guys were the, what is it?
Pass that around.
What's that word?
Uh,
When something bad happens to people.
Karma?
No.
Tragedy.
Yeah.
No. He thought that was it. Crush the Slopes.
So Crush the Slopes.
See? Right there, 30 seconds. My brain's toast. Yeah.
Crush the Slopes, cold hopped hazy IPA. It has
I haven't had it.
massive run of hops that hit on the cold side, providing extra expressive fruitiness on the nose and heaps of full-body juiciness. Meet your go-to beer for the winter ski season, 7% ABV and 0 IBUs.
So, 2 things. Number 1, it's been around for at least a couple of years because...
No, is it? Okay.
It's been around for at least a couple of years because I have people checking this in all the way, friends of mine checking it in all the way back to 2021.
Okay.
Number 2, I appreciate that they put it in quotes. It makes me feel a little better.
And I was trying to figure out what they were going.
And I did
for
some
with that.
research and figured it out. So, Beer Advocate, I found an article from, this one is from all the way back to 2017.
Okay.
So the first, 0 IBU beer came out in April of 2016.
Okay.
So this is the first one. And this article talks a lot about this being, a new style. Nobody made, New England IPAs were not a listed style until people made a bunch of them, and then it's a noted style. So their theory is because of what they're doing to this, it is something different, like a cold IPA.
Right.
That it could be something completely different and be a new style. So, did you look it up and see what they mean when they say 0 IBUs?
Nope.
No, I
Okay.
didn't get that far. I was more into what they mean by cold hopped.
Okay.
So I've got that.
Okay, so we'll get to that then. So, and this will probably parlay into that too, because what they mean by the 0 IBUs is that it's about when and how it's measured. That normally it's in the boil that the hops, that's the alpha acids that pull out, and that's where you get your like bitterness from.
Yep.
So if you don't put hops in during the boil,
Yeah, you're technically at a 0 coming out of the boil.
you're technically 0, and that's why it's in quotes.
Yeah.
Because they're still putting hops in, they're just doing it after, and they're using certain types to still get some of that. The idea is to show somebody that you can have an IPA with not the traditional like bitterness and those things.
So what's the difference between a cold hopped and a dry hopped? I know the difference between a cold IPA and a cold hopped IPA.
Cold hopped is meaning like they're trying to say it as like post boil.
So I looked up a ton of different recipes that are posted, and cold IPAs.
Not
Cold IPAs.
Yeah.
Cold hopped IPAs would do like some hops, but then the majority of them were after cool down. So not in flame out, but in like after the beer's been chilled.
Yeah.
But we've always called that dry hopping. And sometimes you'll do a cold hop after the first fermentation, and they'll call that cold hop. So
I wonder if it means because there was none in the boil. Like dry
Oh,
hop
could be.
is adding more later
Yeah.
and doing that intentionally, like post. Because dry hop is more like the post fermentation. Like you're adding it after
the first
after.
fermentation, yeah.
Compared to
This is right after
cold
down.
hop, meaning like yes,
Flame out. We're gonna throw it on and
Yes.
then go about our day.
Yes.
No. So
Or
Cold hop
flame
would
out,
mean, I think,
chill it down.
after,
I think even later.
after flame
Okay.
out. It's,
And these ones are not talking like the ones that I read about are not talking about like.
So you're not getting the alpha acids and some of the things that come out when it's hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
so
like we're cold brew hopping. We're cold
kind
brew
of
beer.
yeah. So the way that they
Like cold brew coffee.
talked about it is because isohumulone is created when the alpha acids in hops break down during the boil, and they put this in quotes, 0 IBU IPAs are designed around the concept that hops added post-boil don't count toward IBU measurement.
Oh, okay.
So even your...
so it technically is 0.
Because
but-
and that's why I appreciate that they're at least putting it in quotes.
Yeah.
Because it is this thing. Because technically, like, even when you think of like, oh, it's a double dry hopped IPA, like, we assume, us maybe not knowing as much, that like that dry hop is counting in the bitterness units that you're getting.
Right. But
But it really wouldn't be. It's about what
okay.
was put in before. Which is also why, theoretically, like the one we had last time, the dark beer that said 0 IBUs,
But it's still pretty.
but they're not
There
trying
was
to
some
get
hoppy in it.
any bitterness.
Oh, that
They're
one,
just
yeah,
putting
yeah.
it in after to get some of the other notes that hops bring about, not the bitterness.
Because when I looked at it, I'm like, are they just making fun of the IBU as a thing? Because especially when you go with a hazy, you're not
Which
tasting.
is also, I think, a fair point to be made.
But I was going through their beer list, and I'm like, they have
Yes.
IBUs on almost everything except for like their limited releases
Yeah.
and their taproom onlys. So let's talk about this beer, and then I got a couple more things about.
Yeah, so this is obviously very, like, if you're thinking about it not being bitter, it's very kind of juicy, fruity aroma to it.
I'm glad you mentioned juicy. I was going to ask you if it was a juicy.
I would think so. It's very hazy. Like, this
Yeah.
is legit.
and
Called
and-
out as a hazy.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and the only bitters I'm almost getting like a burnt orange or grapefruit peel. I'm not getting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not,
that
but it's
there's,
not
like,
sharp.
any perceptible bitterness in
No.
that.
There's just a little bit, like kind of little bit of tang at the end, and then it's gone. But it is leaving a mouth feel behind after the sip. So it's kind of got that. It's a little.
You mean
syrupy.
like that? I was thinking more like flaked oats or like thickness.
So it's got oats in it, so I didn't cover the
okay,
the
a little
malts.
bit of that, but I'm more getting like this is. You're gonna need a palate cleanser after this.
Oh, before
It
shoot.
sticks. It sticks.
Oh yeah,
If you went from this to a light beer,
yeah. There's
the
gonna,
first half of
it's
that
gonna-
light beer
it's
is
gonna
gonna
be
taste
carryover.
it's gonna
little-
linger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. My son just made a comment about that the other day. That he eating a snack, finished it, wanted something else right away. It's like a PB&J something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he goes, like, within minutes, hey, can I have more? Like, we gave him something different. And he was like, took a bite and he's like, this tastes funny. Like, this tastes different.
He didn't figure it out after the toothpaste
Yeah,
incident?
exactly, right? And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
and that's what I said to him. I was like, this is kind of the same thing, man. Like, some of that, just because you're physically done eating it, does not mean the flavor is all
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, tell him to go brush his teeth and then have the go out.
Oh, yeah, that'll help. Yeah, that'll
Just,
help.
just keep the cycle going.
All right. Go ahead.
So this is part of their Crush series.
Which is like a common, they do a lot of the crushable, hazy crush.
So I was trying to figure that out
Okay.
on what it was. They didn't have it on their website on what the Crush meant because they have a lot of them. So this is a charity collab. And a lot of their Crush series, they have like a Crush Cancer, they have a Crush Hunger, but then they have like a Crush Oregon. So
Oh, really?
Fuck the ducks.
so I'm looking at, so they have a whole Crush series.
Okay, now you're talking to me.
And some of them are directly related to a charity. So this one is related to a charity, which actually ties in why it's Crush the Slopes. And I don't know if this has been every year since it came out, but they support. I have it here.
It's interesting while you're looking at that, they, even on Untapped, like it does talk about the theoretical zero.
Yeah.
But it really is kind of a bold concept that just is like, hey, here's this thing we tried to do. Like, they're not making that big a deal about it. They're at least talking about it in this stuff. Compared to these other beers, like, it was in the name. Like, it was the focus of zero IBUs of all those ones that were originally made was a point. This was just kind of like, we did something. If you get it, cool. If not, just drink the beer.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of serendipitous because that was
Perfect
the thing
timing.
going on in the group chat, and I looked at
timing.
it, spun the can around, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. We're
And,
doing it.
and props to you for even like looking and thinking about checking it and
Yeah.
finding it at this time.
It
getting
was
it
because
super
it was in
topical.
a 4-pack, and whatever intrepid shopper in front of me did
Had spun one.
spun the can around, so I immediately saw the zero.
It's like me when I'm just
Close.
trying to find something that's not super boozy. All right, so
Yeah.
you were saying, Alec?
So what do you think they would be supporting? So Crush Cancer, pretty obvious. Crush
Right.
Hunger, pretty obvious. Crush Oregon, I'm figuring they're just
I'm gonna guess
boosters for UW.
some kind of outdoors thing having to do with like somebody called Edge or something like that.
Yeah, so it's snow sports. Yeah, Edge
I
Outdoors.
saw it on the side.
Oh, did you read it?
Yep, right underneath the descriptor.
Yeah, it's
on the
under
other side.
on the
Turn
back
around.
of the
Keep
can.
turning. Keep turning. That's like
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see their logo now.
it's like hard to tell that it's a logo,
Yeah, so Edge Outdoors
especially when you don't have
supports.
glasses or contacts or.
I saw it. I was reading off the website. Edge Outdoors
Yeah.
supports. I have it right here. Women of color in snow sports.
Oh,
Nice.
So pretty cool. Just an underrepresented
yeah.
group in that category. So
It makes me want to also.
So we should go out and buy more of this beer.
when it is, and they have on their website like 2-3 different ways you can play, and I think they have like prizes and things. I didn't go that far down the rabbit hole, but I just wanted to figure out who they were supporting. So in the area,
I wanted to see if there was anything online about the Crush series.
I couldn't find anything as a whole other than a list of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I found.
Like I said, and half of them are clearly, not half, some of them are clearly tied to some sort of a charity, and some of them,
Yeah, because even one that claims it as like, oh, the Crush series, it's just reviewing one of their beers.
right.
But yeah, because there's Crush Cancer, Crushable, there's like a Hazy Crush. Crush Oregon I just found. That's an awesome, like I'd never heard of that one and really disappointed to not have had that before. And it's not loaded. Oh, there. Oh. Okay. So this is ironic.
Okay.
It is Reuben's Crush Oregon edition. It is not Reuben's Crush Oregon edition
Oh, so we don't like that then.
Oh, that's
'Cause-
sad. I'm sad now.
because it's got the state of Oregon and like
It does say brewed in Washington at the bottom, though.
product of Washington. Yes, but
Boo.
it is not.
Boo.
Yeah.
We made a specific
Boo.
beer for you.
Yes. Which I still would I'm tempted to like take and drink on a Oregon game day, but
No.
No, it is featuring all hops and malts grown in the great state of Oregon. So no, I would not drink that on a day that we play Oregon. So never mind.
No, once the season's officially over, yeah, maybe I'll try.
Yeah, that's a teaser.
Yeah.
So that brought me to snow sports
Okay.
in general. I did a ton of snowboarding through like middle school, high school, and then even college a little bit. And then I went probably like 2010 to 2020 without going up at all. Went up one time in 2020 and went.
And retired?
Yeah, I don't feel like doing this anymore. So I was, and because you did a little bit of snowboarding,
Yeah.
Chad, you probably went inner tubing.
I went once.
Oh, yeah. Ended up with a bruised ass and.
Yeah,
Been
and
there, done
I
that.
didn't have any of the proper clothing, which I think if you're going anywhere where you're doing sports in the snow or in the cold, if you don't have the right layers on, it is just
Yeah.
awful day.
Well, so I looked at it, and I mean, the main reason I didn't for that chunk of time was I had kids and started a career and everything like that, and then
It's expensive.
we would.
It's a time commitment.
How
too.
much? Well, so it's a full day. I don't feel like doing a full day of any one
how
thing.
and how many times down the hill do you get out of a full day?
So that's
Depends on where you go.
Yeah,
That
was always the thing. That was the killer.
I
thing,
did
too.
Whistler one time, and it's like,
oh,
I don't think I went down like,
3 times. Yeah,
no, like we went up,
yeah.
rode down, caught a lift, rode down, like,
Yeah.
but I never went all the way down the mountain until the end of the day.
So Snoqualmie,
Yeah.
the worst mountain in the state.
Yeah.
You-
Convenient.
You
but
can see.
super convenient,
You can
though.
see
cheapish.
the top of the lift. You can see the top of the lift from.
Oh, from where you're at.
Like
yeah,
so,
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You're going to do 45 runs
Yeah.
if you're there all day. Lift tickets for a Saturday pass, which is the only time I can go anymore. What would you think? Cheap-ish.
Don't they start with a crooked number now?
Meaning like 200.
They start with a 2 now.
No, they're not that bad.
I was going to say like 180.
I thought I saw somebody.
Okay,
that
then you
might
guys
have
are
been
good. 135 for
Yeah.
Saturdays. That's still absolutely insane.
I think years ago, Crystal was like 160
And they're now
for a
almost
day.
$200 if you're going on the weekends.
for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
don't-
then
that doesn't
are
make
you
any
going to buy?
sense
Are you
to
going to
me.
buy any food or drink while you're there, or are you
I don't
packing
have-
your
I don't have
snacks
any
in
money
the
left.
car?
No,
Yeah.
for a day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah,
Right.
when I worked for a ski snowboard company, we got like a,
Free passes or whatever, or
We got-
discounted.
I think it was like, I want to say it was like $100, but it might have been 199. But either way, like for a season, because we were
Yeah,
like in the
yeah.
industry.
Oh, just Snoqualmie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Fridge the beer.
is there more of it?
Oh, yeah. Pass
Yeah,
this
I've
around.
already. I had my second helping.
Don't dump it on the board.
So
I know one.
I really kind of want to like mess with somebody who like either I can't decide whether maybe it's a double mess with somebody who's really into IPAs.
Mhm.
Just try this. Don't say anything about like, hey, I got you an IPA. Boom, put it in front of them. Just see what their general thoughts are, not knowing anything about it, and then just be like, hey, what'd you think of that one? The bitterness, the whatever, blah blah blah. Second thing, give it to somebody who's not an IPA person, even if you're just like. But I don't know like what you could say. I don't want to like outright lie.
It's pale ale.
Mm,
Yeah, it's close.
Or you go, hey,
it's close.
It's cold IPA, or
Yeah, I just was trying to think of like
it's
how
not
to.
I don't think you try to trick them.
so cold IPA, we've talked about it. Cold IPA is a IPA brewed with lager yeast at the
Correct.
top
We talked about that
end,
earlier,
at the
but-
top end of their
Yeah.
temperature range.
Was there a different name for that originally? Where they started? Because like I know one of the first ones I had heard of was
Hoppy lager.
No, it was like
No.
Sam's 76, I think, where they made like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
where they had done. But I feel like maybe theirs was a
A lager with extra hops.
yes,
Yeah.
or the other
Yeah.
way around, where it was like, oh, we made
But I mean,
a
that-
lager, but we
But
used
then-
ale yeast. Like it's like the other way around
Right.
almost.
Yeah.
But then cold IPA started
I
coming
mean,
out.
that's a natural step. After you, hey, let's do a hoppy
Yeah.
lager. Now, what if we
I just
lager and IPA?
the cold IPA name to me annoys me because it makes me think like, well, it's Reuben's. They're Stay Frosty that I like every once in a while forget. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like a winter IPA, and then I get I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. Like thinking it'd be like a little like darker,
does have snowflakes on the can
Yeah.
and all of that, but yeah, no, it's
just
not a
cold, yeah. I would want to try a full can or two.
There may be one or two left.
Test my.
And at 7%, that's
I want to test
it's a good day.
the IPA theory on this beer before I make my final
Ooh.
decision. Does the change in when the hops go in?
Is it the flame out IBUs is what mess you up, or is it the stuff dry hopped?
It's just another experiment.
All right, there we go.
That being said, if this is seasonal, I would do a 4-pack every season. Probably grab it.
Okay.
You just got it from your big box grocery store, right?
Yeah, 4-pack.
Reuben's has great distribution.
They do. They're pretty solid.
At least
Yeah,
here.
I went to the Reuben section, and it was right there at eye level. Yeah, so it was prime.
I was gonna say I'd get back to it. I didn't want to forget before I moved on. They opened a new spot in Fremont. It is on Fremont Ave, so it goes up the hill from Fremont. Did you go to the house that I lived at with the guys, the big house, kind of hidden? We called it the tree house, hidden behind
I think so,
the
once or
neighborhood.
twice.
It is walking distance from there. If you were trying to get down to Fremont from there, you got to cross 43rd or whatever it is, and then go a few blocks, and it's just on the way down the hill.
So pretty convenient if you're in the area.
Yeah, it's right near some other restaurants and stuff. Picado Bueno is a couple blocks away. Rockfish, I think, is another one. So it's a really good spot for them in having it. But yeah, I haven't been yet, but another tap room right there. So they now have...
Just the two tap rooms.
I guess you're right.
Then...
They closed their other one. They had the original one open for a while and the main one.
Yeah, because they have third location or 2 private locations that you can book out for parties and things, but they're not tap rooms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they have multiple. Yeah, so there is a new one, at least I think since we last talked. But so I do seasonal, but I do the 4-pack of it.
I think it's seasonal. Seasonal beer fridge. For sure. Supporting charity. Makes it easy too. And anything Reuben's is
I hope they're getting
delicious.
distribution and putting this at the mountains. Because
Ooh, that'd be good.
I would,
Yeah.
if you came in off of it, I'm thinking of Whiskey Jack's at Snoqualmie or something like that.
We just said I haven't been to the mountain in 4 years.
It's the same place that's been there for decades. But
if I'm paying $150 for a lift ticket, I'm not spending any time in it.
It's the bar that's on the top floor, but you could roll in there. And if there's a beer, and I would make sure that it's known. I would not say that it's the Reuben's IPA. I would make sure that it says Crush the Slopes IPA.
Yeah.
And I would walk in
Hazy
and be like,
IPA.
yes, I want one of those.
You would have to say hazy.
Yeah, I would love to.
True.
This would be even better on draft.
I've seen
I'm
people
not.
who check
I
it in.
can't. I never skied, but doing something outside when it's cold and coming in and crushing one of these. That was.
That's the other thing is the Crush series always makes me think that it's crushable. But
it's not.
7%
No,
in this,
no.
I slow your roll, man.
I was thinking more along the lines crushed, more juicy.
And that was the second thing that I was thinking is if not that, then that's it. And that's probably...
Maybe, but then I was looking it up and Crush Cancer.
But it's still a hazy.
It is.
So...
But even at 7%, for me, that was...
Maybe
that was on the more crushable side if you told me that was 7.
And maybe that's where it branched off to. Is hey, we're going to do some charity beers. Well, we already have something called Crush.
Right.
So...
They need to crush the vote.
That's what I'm saying. That a good chunk of them are clearly tied to some social...
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I wish... Yeah, in their Crush series of hazy IPAs. That's all I can find. So...
Yeah, stay fluid.
Yeah.
That way they can swap it up.
They've gotten quite a few good naming things out of them. I really wish that Crush Oregon was actually one, not Crush Oregon edition.
Enough pressure.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
Crush the Ducks.
Yeah.
Fuck the Ducks.
We got a beer topic.
Seasonal beer fridge for me as well.
Yeah.
Same thing as Brian. I've got a 4-pack in my fridge, and I'll keep
3-pack now.
3-pack now. But yeah, I see this as a once a week treat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, for the whole season, so you're more than a 4-pack. Or you're doing once a week for 4 weeks?
Yeah, so I get a month of
Okay.
tasty, cold hopped hazy IPA.
Cool.
Yeah, and on to news.
On to news. You want to kick it off? I'll grab the next beer.
Which one were we doing? I read it last night and then I forgot.
The hop take stories defining 2024.
Oh yeah. So
Sorry, that was the website. That was the file name for the HTML file.
But it's
funny.
It's from Hop
It's not-
Takes.
No, it's from
The
Vine
one you
Pair.
posted yesterday, right?
Vine Pair. 6 stories that will shape
Yeah,
the
Vine
beer business
Oh,
in
that-
2024.
literally-
I see the little red
The
text
second
now.
sentence.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
here
not
we are.
hot take,
Hop Takes
it's hot
first
take.
full calendar year.
Ha 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 ha.
It's still
It's a play on words.
right, but it's still a thing. Like it
It's
might
like
be
Who
from
Farted?
Vine Pair, but they're doing a segment called Hop Takes.
Yeah.
I found it from Vine Pair and shared it to our Discord.
And
Why
then
does
I
it
pasted
say
into our Discord.
Hop Takes first full calendar years in the books? Second sentence.
Yeah, so it might be an article or series within Vine Pair.
Yeah. So Dave Infante, kind of well known in the industry for
Cool.
writing about stuff. So if you
I'm glad you know.
listen, I may not listen to our podcast. I listen to other beer podcasts.
So we don't have to.
Sure, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these
I only listen to this podcast 6 hours a week.
some of these are like
We've covered so
I
many
know.
times.
Do we want to like just touch on them?
The big one's AB InBev. Is it coming back? Which, yes.
The main reason they're trying to come back is getting back into the UFC sponsorship. So they used to be the UFC's beer sponsor. It was that way for a long time. Switched to Modelo.
Which is Constellation?
Yeah.
Was that for a long time. And now, in light of everything, they are,
Back in Bud Light.
yeah.
So that one, I think, has been
And so is Kid Rock.
covered.
Yeah.
Did he reverse course on that? I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, money talks.
Boston Beer Company.
Twisted Tea. Can they hold on?
It's just the FMB. With such a proliferation, are they going to be the top dog still?
Sorry, I had no idea the hard tea segment.
Was
It's
Boston
like-
Beer Company?
Yeah,
Or-
like 90. You have 90%.
Oh.
I was
They dominated.
because the
Twisted.
Monster Beast is now coming out with the hard tea. I was like, why the hell are you coming out with hard tea? That makes no sense. And then I read this article and go, oh, yeah.
Because everybody's trying.
Because Twisted Tea's been out for a long time and no competition.
legendary.
Do you remember I was talking to my
I got my Twisted Tea holster.
brother-in-law the other day? Well, that's the thing is, I was talking to the other day. We talked
I got
about
24 ounces on my hip.
it's the resurgence to me of Twisted Tea is when the dude hit the guy with
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
and it was caught on video like however many years ago.
Yeah.
There's a black man in a grocery store, a convenience store, holding a thing, and the guy keeps calling him the N-word. And he
Oh.
said, like, you say it one more time. And he did. And he, like, smacks him with the Twisted Tea. That's the first, like, return to relevance that I recall. Because I remember Twisted Tea long time ago being around, but not
We got the neon sign in the damn house,
right.
garage, or whatever.
But nowhere near the relevance
No.
from what it is now. Like, it is.
It was a very niche market
Yes.
for a long time.
And now it is everywhere.
Because it was in that same lane as Mike's Hard.
Yep.
That was declining, and then
Yeah.
somebody
I don't-
got 24 ounces of Twisted Tea
Yeah.
upside the face, and now here we are. Now it's a gold rush for hard iced tea.
I don't know that anybody can overtake them. I think at most someone will take a little bit of the segment. Like I could see them dropping to like 75 or 80%,
They're not going to lose all of it.
but there's no way.
You got
it
some
just drops
big
off.
brands coming into that FMB, and that's where you might. Because like
Key one
Arizona
to me-
Teas
That's
Yeah,
the
and
key
they-
one to me.
That's
And
And
that-
once you guys pointed that one out to me, I was like, "Ooh, that
doubles back for a later topic here, too.
Especially if they cap it at 99 cents.
Well, that's not going to happen. But yeah, 99 cents, you now have 99% of the market.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be so on brand. Or if they just pick some price and go, it's this price
Yeah.
forever.
They might. Arizona might. I mean, it took a long...
If it's printed on the can, then we know.
If it's a 12-ounce can, you could get away with
It's
like
they're-
a
they're-
two.
it's got to be in the
tall.
OG.
So
They're,
then
they're
it's-
24s. Or I think they're in...
I mean, then you got to go like
They'll go 19 too.
I think
19.2 would be solid.
something like that.
Because then it'll fit in the rest of that.
I've only seen it in the
I don't want it.
party pack. I don't drink Twisted Tea either, but
I've had one in my fridge for months.
There's one that's been in here when we were doing the Beast. I picked up a can of Twisted Tea and some MD 2020 to go along with it.
Jeez. All right, well, we got the next review
Yeah,
scheduled.
so we gotta eventually drink that on pod. So we'll see.
The next
Let
topic,
us know in the comments
right? If you want a Twisted Tea or hard iced tea.
if you want to see us.
Before you get to this, it seems like at least 3 or 4 of these are all just different variations of the same.
Yep.
Same.
It's just it's
the
Godzilla
next
one with the big beer companies going on in the background.
Because the next one is fighting for ABI's shelf space. As
Right.
ABI is losing
Coors and...
Molson, who's going to overtake it? I think.
But if AB's taking it back, then who's taking the shelf space?
I had seen it before, but I was in the grocery section at Target today, and smart man.
Yep, get ahead of it.
They had Modelo Oro,
Okay.
which I don't know the alcohol level, but it's like 3 grams of something and like 90 calories.
Yeah.
It's like their
3 grams of carbs? Or-
maybe, yeah.
okay.
It's their Mick Ultra
Yeah.
competitor. It was the only alcohol in that section. It was like between, you know where there's like the little fruit section between the 2 like cold stands in Fred Meyer or in Target?
Okay, yep.
And then there's like the freezers on the back wall where you get into like usually the cold beer and stuff.
Yeah.
It was there in its own little section, like right up against the fruit and stuff.
Well,
And I was like,
that's money.
right? And I was like, that's weird to see that. But like, I had never seen it anywhere else. It's also not something I go looking for. Like,
Yeah, I've never...
but I think Modelo keeps keeping on. I don't see anyone overtaking them for a while.
They're the official beer of the Dodgers, if I remember the stadium sign correctly. And now they're the biggest baseball team in the world.
Yeah. That's
I think
very
this
true.
is, not to go too far off track, but I think this is the first time
Yankees?
I've seen somebody finally overshadow the Yankees.
Because, I mean, but it's...
The
the
arms
Yankees
race.
haven't been
No.
great in a while.
They've been decent.
They've been good.
But they were supposed to be good this year and weren't.
Well, we'll see if the Dodgers get past
And the
first
Dodgers,
round
but the
this year.
Dodgers have always been a brand. Like,
Yes.
it's got the classic LA logo. It's literally
yeah.
like the East Coast, West Coast version. Like, but they have not been super
They're allergic to
consistent,
playoff baseball.
And now they've been more consistently good.
My wife has a Dodgers
I
hat.
saw it at your house the
and
other day.
Could
and I was
not,
like,
could not for the life of her name.
What team it was?
So it was like a Yankees
player.
hat in the 90s?
Oh.
She also has a Yankees hat, and we asked her, "Can you name a single past current Yankees player?" And she came up with Babe Ruth. We went, yes.
Technically?
Not,
yeah.
I mean, he was a Yankee.
Not
Technically
Not,
correct
not where
is
he
the
was
best
famous
super
from.
relevant.
Yeah. But moving on back to
Wait,
the
no,
news.
that
Sorry,
was
boys.
where he was most relevant.
No.
Yes, he left.
Oh, left Boston to go to Yankees. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
yes.
but he did curse the
That- and that's-
Boston,
yes,
and that's
yeah.
where he's tied to.
And then going to what Chad was talking about earlier, Monster,
yeah.
which then
Their
goes
so-
into
their
the
sophomore
tea
year.
thing, which goes into it's.
Did,
Just,
did you actually ever follow up and buy any of the other Monster
I have
Beast
been
Unleashed?
very close to doing it multiple times. I keep
Because they added the
looking-
4th flavor.
I haven't seen where I go looking. I have not seen it in the singles, and I'm not paying $25 for the whole pack.
You haven't seen any of the individuals in a
Not
single?
where
Oh,
I
not,
go looking.
Oh.
like,
you don't buy gas?
I don't go inside.
Oh.
Like,
Dude, you got kids. You know you can't stop and dilly dally at the gas station. You
yeah,
gotta
man.
gas and go.
Were you paying
Fuel and
attention to
go.
yourself on
Yeah.
the last episode?
I don't drive everywhere with my kids. And I'm
I-
in convenience stores every single day.
That
the
is
entire
that
week.
is true.
You drive a lot more.
I also distribute to convenience
Well,
stores.
yes, also that. I literally don't go inside. Like, it's pretty
Scary.
rare. There's just not anything I need. I go to a grocery store because, honestly, I'm also a cheapskate. And I know that I can save $1.50 or $2 on a 6-pack of beer by just buying it from Fred Meyer instead of a 7-Eleven or whatever. But I have also heard, I did not expect that Monster was going to do this well. It seems to be solidly hanging on for this first initial burst.
Well, and it calls it out, I think in here, is it's a huge female fan base. Like a lot larger
Interesting.
female fan base for the Beast Unleashed than it was for straight up Monster. So they're winning female fans to the Monster brand through the booze side of it that they could never win through
That's interesting.
the energy
I wonder
drink.
why. I wonder why or how.
No idea.
Just the
It's probably that because it's
like
on,
giving
the,
you something.
on the Monster side. It's like the extreme motorsports and all that stuff. And yeah, it sucks, but we have like this cultural thing in America where no girls, you shouldn't be riding motorcycles or driving race cars. Stay away from that.
Yeah. But I just wonder if it's. I was thinking more of it being a different flavor than just seltzers.
Yeah.
For like an alcohol that's not. It's not actually hard alcohol.
Yeah.
It's not like a cocktail in a can. It looks maybe a little more sporty to be carrying around. Like just a look from it to do that. Then
It tasted good.
and that's the thing. Like it's actually
Garbage water.
I still need to find that because we didn't try the white one, right?
I think that was the
I
one
don't.
that we
I don't
didn't
want.
get.
I don't want to
Because
see if it doesn't taste.
Well, and
as
they
good
have
as the
the nasty teas.
Well, and that's what the Nasty Beast.
Nasty Beast.
Nasty
sorry.
Beast.
So they have their
That's the
iced tea
not-
versions.
No.
But they have the tea.
they-
They have tea versions of the energy drink too. So it's just a
Yeah. Oh, they have tons of weird versions. I remember.
Well, I
trying
mean, they're
them.
gonna have. They have got like dozens upon dozens of flavors that
they could expand.
They can just keep throwing. They're a big enough beverage
The
company.
Monster Juice
They can-
cards, yeah.
They can let this run.
If those were alcoholic,
Yeah, they can let
But
this.
they're also foul. But
there's some that are that's not bad.
They got enough cash from the normal Monster business operations. They can just keep throwing money at the problem for like 4 years.
we'll
to
see.
to figure
'Cause
it
they got to
out.
do something because their deal with Coke's falling through.
Oh, really?
Well, stalled at least.
Did they miss out by not
Yeah, wait till hard Coke.
writing
hits.
it as Nasty Beast?
I don't know. I haven't seen the cans.
Just Nasty Beast, like the
I'm sure
regular
there's-
spelling of nasty.
There's probably so many obscure
Copyrights
copyrights
and things.
around that kind of.
The last one fits. Oh, I guess it's
There's
two
two
more.
more.
Good lord. Consolidation among craft brewers and distributors.
We talked about it last time.
Yeah.
That's
there's
just
there's
the-
going to be some casualties.
But you're a
But
decade
the-
in, you're a decade into this industry, and that's kind of what happens.
Consolidation I don't feel as bad about because a lot of them are just grouping together and the brands
Stay the same
often
or remain.
yes, remain or do something because they're seeing that like fitting a certain thing. There's definitely going to be some that fall by the wayside. It is what it is. I think this would be an article or a conversation to have for a whole other day is like this talk about like distribution and doing that. The distributors falling apart and them consolidating, if it's just towards the macro, that's going to hurt craft beer.
Mhm.
Because like I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about some of these like craft distributors that have fallen apart and are going away. And that's when we lose, you don't realize it, but like when somebody like a Drekker all of a sudden shows up in our fridges, like at a bottle shop, it's not just like it is not possible for that bottle shop to just make a connection with somebody in North Dakota and say, hey, like I will sell your beer. There has to be a distributor doing it. And when some of those fall apart, you lose access to some of these specialty ones that you didn't realize were hinged on that sort of thing. You've just gotten used to seeing them in your stores. So that's where I think the consolidation more is going to hurt craft beer than the mergers. I love more and more breweries. I just want good ones, and I'd rather there be slightly less breweries that are better than just a bunch more
So you
that
can-
are blah.
So you can get consistent access.
Yeah.
Because, like what you said, you're going to start seeing some. You could start seeing some breweries that you got lucky to have locally in your bottle shop, and they could just poof disappear overnight. It's like, well,
Or you can have some that have stopped allegedly brewing, but still are in the store, probably due to distribution contracts that maintain.
yeah,
So
like the Direct TV every year. Some sports fan base is pissed off at Direct TV.
Hmm.
all the time.
But anyways,
And the last one is just legislation, and it's a lot of gobbledygook. Just tax changes and distribution. Because a lot of states you can't distribute out of state and things
Why don't
like
you start
that.
pouring and we can get into that a little bit more.
and then it was because it was more uniform taxing for the liquor side, and they're kind of going like, beer has all these little cutouts in all the states. We don't want them to.
It's a back and forth a lot between like liquor and beer and wine to a point, but like I bought something like that actually had liquor in it. I rarely buy it, but like bought like hard eggnog and am like shocked always when I get to the counter and I'm like,
It's like twice the price.
the extra bit. So part of it is like, especially when we were talking about RTDs that are coming out at 5 or 6%, but because it's with liquor, they're getting taxed way more compared to a 5 or 6% beer, but because it's malt, it's completely different. So like in that aspect, like I know that I want to support beer and I want what's best for them, but I do think it's kind of shifty if like just because they're doing alcohol, even though it's a low alcohol amount, they're getting hit the same. The second part for that article, it talks about like, do we need to be more aware about the Monster alcohol and Simply Spiked and these things?
Mountain Dew.
And they're being like a hard line.
That confusion in a grocery store.
And I would see it more like, I feel like the grocery stores are going to have the setups and they ding you for like, every time you scan something that's got alcohol, it doesn't let you proceed. I'm thinking more of like the convenience stores or those types of things. Not to like say that they're shady. It's just like I feel like.
How would you know?
Fair. I just feel like that is the place. I remember you kept getting carded when you started buying Rockstar because it was in a tall boy.
25 years ago.
Exactly. And so like, and maybe it's just that old mentality that I still have, but like that
there will probably be a period of time where
so
if you grab a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, somebody's gonna go, I need your ID. Like, it's normal. Oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah, so I don't know what it means, but I could see that. What?
Speaking of convenience store liquor, I don't think kids party like they used to.
Oh,
yeah, no, you're not packing up a pack of Bud Light. We got
no, you're paying a little more.
Drekker Brewing Company, who we have
one of our
waxed poetic about.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. These days?
I don't know what that is. Do you?
Parties these days. All
right, maybe.
Is he really?
He could be. This is a smooth...
Who farted? God, it's the lob the softball and it just hit the dirt.
So this
hit the dirt, boys.
Gummy sour. Parties these days. Gummy sour. A smoothie pastry.
How many R's are in
beverage? There are 3 R's in that.
Yes.
It is 6.8% ABV, and it says 0 IBU, but I think that might just be you're not tasting an IBU with the stuff we put in.
Yeah,
this
I don't know
anyway.
if there's hops in it.
A sour brewed with more Sour Patch Kids than we'd ever seen before. We also added lemon, lime, orange, raspberry, pink guava, and sea salt for flavor. And then I'll take you way, way back to a time a few days ago when you just ate a huge pile of Sour Patch Kids. Or was that just us? And those are basically the gimmicks, the flavors that they put in there. Drekker puts the gimmicks on the can, and it's raspberry, orange, apricot, guava,
Yeah, it
lemon,
tastes like
lime.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yep, pineapple and Sour Patch Kids. And they actually put Sour Patch Kids with the registered trademark thing on there. So
you know it's official.
Did they blend up some Sour Patch Kids, put it in here?
Or they just wanted to eat, or they just, please don't sue us.
No, I think Urban Dictionary does not agree with anything that they said, and it's not ones that I'm going to start talking about on here. But
well, that's what I'm going with, and this is Chad's world, baby.
Yeah.
You don't read anything from Urban Dictionary. I know we're explicit in air quotes, but
yeah, we aren't going down that rabbit hole.
It does just make me wonder, like, okay, tell me, Drekker, what you're thinking here. All right.
I thought that and it made sense. So
yeah, it's fine.
We'll run with that.
Drekker, please
Yeah,
please correct us if we're wrong.
Please help me out.
with the trip out to your hotel.
Is that a...
What?
What's that on the side of the can there next to the Drekker logo?
Independent craft brew.
Other side. Holy goodness.
I have no idea. You can pass the can around. This is
Yeah, this is something.
This is boozy juice. Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Ooh.
I mean, what else do we get from these guys?
Right. But it's, even though you're talking about another, like, oh, it's another smoothie sour.
it's different.
It's very different. It hits different.
I mean, it's more a normal beer. This reminds me of a Goza. Goza, whatever.
Goza, yeah.
Goza, yeah.
But does tart acidic finish look past the Sour Patch Kids? I'm
You
getting
get a little bit of salt,
Yeah.
but it's a lot
Dude, I'm getting mega
Sour Patch Kids in the back of your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will
But
your
so
tongue
that- but
split in
that's-
half if you drink an entire can
Oh,
of this?
most definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
this
is
is
insane.
This is a perfect 8-ouncer. 16 ounces of this, I would just be destroyed. My mouth
I
would be
wonder,
toast.
yeah, like, would...
8-ouncer with a sugar, that rock sugar that they put on the outside of the
Dude,
Sour
like,
Patch Kids, yeah, like a margarita.
yes.
Yeah, done.
I just don't even know what to say. Like, it's one of those things that,
Smells like Sour Patch Kids, tastes like Sour Patch Kids. There's this.
Yeah.
It's just what was the scene in Arrested Development when he opens up the brown bag and goes, "I don't know what I expected." Just whatever that is, we'll insert that meme.
Is this just Sour Patch Kids blended? Added some yeast and a little bit of water, and then
Yeah.
like a hop.
I think
Was
he
this
said it,
dry
but,
hop
like,
to a Sour Patch Kids?
It does. This does say. I mean,
mean-
the gimmicks says Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
But it looks like watered down tomato soup.
Yeah,
If I'm being honest, it's not appealing to the eyeball
not
at all.
necessarily.
But once it hits your mouth, it's fantastic. Oh man, that's what she said.
Well, and this one, I might be able to finish a can of this.
I'm debating on how I would like.
A can.
Yeah. So this is where I've landed with Drekkers, though. These styles
I
specifically.
just watched you pour that. It was like
Glug,
it was
glug.
like laminar flow. It was just big.
I bought one. It's like they had like a holiday series. So I was at the store, bought one for my sister, and then ended up buying the second flavor for myself. And I can't seem to get past the idea that like these are morning beers. Like,
Yep.
so I have it, and I haven't drank it yet because it really feels like the beer that needs the right timing. Whereas just the other IPA or hazy IPA or a stout or whatever, like, there are many times that I can just drink one of those and feel fine. I don't want this other chunky, like, holiday Drekker milkshake beer with my dinner.
No.
Do I want it after dinner? Maybe I could get away with like deserting, but like,
I don't want to run the risk. I feel full after drinking
So
it.
you put this as a breakfast beer?
not this one
I was
necessarily.
gonna say you wake up and eat candy for breakfast.
No.
No,
This-
this is. I just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
Okay.
with some Ruffles chips on it
Okay.
around noon.
Okay.
Or Cheetos. Go old school, and then I have this.
I was gonna say this is a Halloween beer.
Oh.
Kids are getting a whole bunch of candy, and I'm sipping on one of these while we're walking around the neighborhood. I mean, yeah, walking around the neighborhood.
You can put it in your Stanley tumbler.
There you go.
Yeah, put a couple of them in it.
And then have to wash it a couple times to get the flavor out of it.
Yeah.
It's like the
No.
one time you thought it was a good idea to put something other than water
No,
in
that's
your
your
Camelback.
Drekker Stanley. Only your Drekker beers go in it.
Yeah. I mean, that just like,
So
there's something unique about these beers. And have we done any of this type that is not Drekker? Like these like milkshake
yeah,
smoothies?
We've had a couple. Not
A couple, but I mean, these guys are like. When it shows up on Tavour, I gotta
they're
get it.
cranking them out.
what we haven't done is any of Drekker's more traditional style beers.
No, we're gonna
But
save
those
that
don't-
for when we go to North Dakota.
So I don't know if we touched
Or-
on it. Oh, go ahead.
Or Peaks and Pints, they have.
A couple on tap.
Yeah.
That's where I got their pizza IPA, the Drekker pizza IPA.
You got it in the can, not on tap.
No, but Peaks and Pints.
Yes, but you.
Yeah,
He
out of their
said
case.
on draft.
I meant
yeah,
in
yeah.
general. We just haven't had
In
any.
general.
No, you meant you got a can of it. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, we're gonna empty the keg at Drekker when we show up to Brew Holla.
Well, and so that I'll get to you out just a second. There is a guy that works with the guy from Peaks and Pints who keeps like joking about like you need to just make a line for like smoothie sours and like
I
mean, I don't know how-
dedicate it
because they do admit that like there is a age demographic that rolls in and buys like all of the flavors of the milkshake like smoothie sours.
Yeah.
But do they stick around and drink anything on tap?
But does somebody have to develop a new keg technology to
That's
keep
what
it stirred?
Like it almost needs
Because
like a cement mixer. Like it needs
it's like the
Like an agitator.
No, it's
Yes.
it's a slushy machine or the 7-Eleven machine. Yeah, the Slurpee machine.
Not the worst.
How would you know?
I mean, I think it's a cool idea. I don't know that it actually would work. All right, what do you got?
I don't think we've talked about their Unpillaged program.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So they have Unpillaged.
to me.
Yep. So they Viking themed, or initially Viking themed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Unpillaged is their charity organization. So that's 2 beers in a row. I mean, this isn't not specifically. So they have Unpillaged nights where like $1 from every beer
Nice.
that they sell goes to charity, and they've donated
AKA,
like
don't steal from people, give back from people, unpillage.
yeah. So they have an Unpillaged night, donate over $100,000 so far. So if we're going to Fargo, Nodak, to check out
Brew Holla.
Brew Holla, maybe we time it around Unpillaged night.
I like.
But I would want a flight of this because
Yeah.
three of these in, and I'm. Where's your light beer?
Oh, do we know? Do they make a pilsner? Do they make a lager? Like,
They do have.
Yeah, they have normie beer.
no.
Yeah, they have a lager, Munich Dunkel, a Marzen, an American Light, Super Mega Lager,
Perfect.
which is perfectly named
They're in
for
North
them.
Dakota. They have to have a light lager.
They have a Triple New England.
That is not that. Now you've branched off again. 'Cause
But they
that's
have
gonna
they
be
have like 10 different IPAs.
yeah.
So Imperials, Standards, New Englands.
I do want to know.
Stouts.
I do want to know how they.
You don't
serve
get
these.
you don't get to stunt on people with this beer without being good at the basics.
And
You would
then
hope so.
their sours goes on for
I
much longer.
I do want to know how they serve these. Like there, like of all.
They probably got the
places,
slurpee machine. That thing comes
of
right out
all
of.
places that would have to have.
It figured out, or they all just canned.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm wondering. But like,
That's more than
you
like.
can't always assume that someone's going to drink 16 ounces of that.
That's the only
If
thing.
somebody's
you sell
showing
it
up
as.
to your hotel in Fargo, North Dakota, it's called Brew Holla. Yeah, they're coming to drink, baby.
But there are people who, if you want them to try multiple different things, they can't do 16 ounces.
I know they have flights. They have to have
But flights of what? Because you're then opening a
Of tasty
can
beer.
and not finishing the whole can.
Well, it has to ferment somehow, so it has to be in vats
Right.
somehow. So they
Right.
have some way to not just pull all of the sludge off the bottom.
Right. But I'm talking. But it's that is a separate process that then to then be stored and served.
But you're at Brewholla. Maybe they're pulling directly from the agitated vats. I have no idea.
So many questions,
Welcome to Brew Holla.
and I keep pulling out my phone like they're going to be there, and they're not. So,
Drekkers are awesome.
dude, it's one of those things where
We're
when
we're Drekker drunk right now.
Where I
our minds are just out here in the ether.
starting to see these, and I don't remember if I'd had any before my sister was drinking them. I'm just like, okay, cool. You drink
Cool.
just like the 0 IBUs. You drink beer,
Mhm.
haha. And I'm just like,
Yeah, but they're pretty good.
That's the thing. Like, I still want to figure out like the right time to fit them in to my drinking
Schedule.
Yes.
Can't be dark. I would not. Only on Halloween.
Dude,
After dark.
everything is dark this time of year. It's dark all
I know,
the time.
I'm over it.
So
We're here. I've got the sun lamps on us.
yeah, I'm thinking. I still don't know. This is, and maybe I ruined myself by the one time I did it before we went to Portland, by actually just making it a morning beer.
I think this is something you leave in the fridge, and then when you feeling a little bit peckish for something weird, it's just there. It doesn't have a specific time slot. It's not a dinner beer. It's not a dessert beer. It's not a breakfast beer. It's just a. You know what? I feel like getting a little bit weird. Kids in the pool.
Oh,
You're sitting there like, just I'm not doing yard work.
The problem is,
I got an hour.
I wonder about like just sitting with that for a while. I need it in like my
A Stanley tumbler.
God damn.
something you can just
It's
swirl
called
around a little
topical
bit.
humor, Brian.
No, but Chad, my reaction was that you're not wrong, because I was going to say, actually, in my brand new, haven't been used yet, R.I.P. Odd Otter insulated cup would be kind of perfect, because it's also got a lid on it.
I've had beer, water, and coffee in mine so far.
I actually now have 2 Odd Otter insulated cups,
Rip
but
Odd
one with a lid. So
Because even in these taster glasses,
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of a swirl.
yes,
to
and I
keep it
wasn't
from
doing that
settling.
enough, but like that's what you need to kind of like. It's the constant agitator. You need to.
Oh,
Oh, dude, I'll
you
just
put it in one of your blender ball
no, done.
mugs.
Oh,
Perfect. I've always wanted to get.
So instead of a protein shake, you just do a...
No. I've always wanted to get a big Erlenmeyer flask
what?
and and a little one of those
Agitator?
magnetic spinners, and we'll just pour it into a Erlenmeyer flask and have that bitch spinning the whole
It's
time.
like having to pour the wine into the aerator beforehand.
Decanter, yeah.
You need a Drekker
Listen,
decanter.
man, we don't plan that far in advance. We're doing the one that forces the air through.
Write it down. A Drekker decanter.
Drekker decanter.
Patent
Perfect.
it. Patent
Cool.
it.
Because then you could pour it. You don't need to roll it before. It'll start the process.
Seasonal beer fridge.
100%. I mean, it's not. No offense, but like that's everything.
There's so many other flavors. They just have to live in the beer fridge.
Yeah, and I wouldn't...
Because if a normie opens your normal fridge and sees this beer in there,
I would be.
they would be shocked.
That is
because-
another time where someone's like, "What is that?" Like,
Okay,
hey,
we're drinking it.
Yeah,
We're splitting
like,
this
yeah,
for
let's
sure.
go.
Oh.
And I think that's where
It's a beer fridge, but you're going to trap other people
Oh,
in the normal fridge.
We're gonna Drekker other people.
as a marketing technique.
Oh, you
I'm
just
gonna
got
Drekker
Dreckered.
them.
You just got Dreckered, bruh.
Dude.
Oh,
is that the new?
is that the new? Is that you got
the new
ice?
Smirnoff?
You got
You
ice.
got Dreckered, except for you're going to be much more happy when you,
You
get
got
Dreckered.
Dreckered, bruh.
Yes. I don't want to chug it.
You have to chug it on your knee though.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No.
So I wouldn't go seasonal beer fridge. I'd go rotating beer fridge. It doesn't always have to be this one.
Yeah.
Just having a Drekker or two in there.
Varietal love it. Yes.
I would like the chonk has a certain like I need to do more research into looking like what theme really is chonk. What theme really is brains?
Anyone
what
else?
theme really is you can good
Okay.
is that one. Like so do I just need one
Of each of those? Because are they sharing
then
a
I'm
base recipe? And
that's what I'm wondering. That like they all kind of do that sort of thing. So maybe the problem is like now I got to explain that in my fridge I got brains and chonk and like I don't know, man. Like,
I like that better than party. Like the whistles go. Woo.
All right. Well,
yeah, I'm the same though. I'll put it in like some kind of rotation.
Yeah.
Whew. I'm getting all hot and bothered by that.
Way to crusher it, team.
There you go. All right. Our glasses are empty. Hopefully yours are too. And we will catch you next time.
If you've enjoyed what you just heard, make sure you subscribe to get new episodes when they drop, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you want to see what we're drinking when we're not on the pod, you can follow us on social media at A Beer Review. Feel free to send us any beer suggestions that we can make Chad go buy off of Tavour.